So having the ability to combine / breed pets in Palworld is one of the coolest things right now, and you're really missing out if you're not using this, because it literally gives you access to some of the best subspecies. Like for example, this normally high level Lunaris that you get after level 30, you can actually get it by combining 2 low level 5 pals that you get in the early stages. And there are plenty more in there that I'm going to show you in this video, including ways to get some of the best passive skills, transfer them to other subspecies, and also boost up the rank of your favorite pals. So to get started, you're going to have to be level 19, because this is when you unlock the breeding pen for the first time, and this is what's going to give you access to both breeding the same type of species, male and female, to get a much better version of the two, plus combining different species between one another to come up with completely new ones and even amazing results that you rarely find out in the wild. Before that, we need a bunch of other stuff, so wheat plantation is one of them, as well as the mill. This is going to help us transform that into wheat, which we're gonna then use to bake cakes. Yes, cakes are going to be part of the process and are absolutely mandatory to cause the pets to breed in the first place. After that, you're just going to need a cooking pot, a bunch of these spells to help you with that. So what we're going to do from this point on is essentially bake these cakes. So as you can see, they require the flour, they require the red berries, which you get from red berry plantations, also from very early on. But the only other 3 prerequisites are milk, egg, and honey. So for the milk, we need the mozzarinas, which are these cow creatures that you will find a lot of very close to the ravine entrance waypoint, pretty much right next to it, as well as atop of many of these platforms. What I suggest doing is to just grab a bunch, but realistically 1 or 2 is what you need at most. Now from this point on, we're gonna need the honey, and we will get this from the bee guard pals. However, these come in a bit later. At around level 20-21 is where they are typically situated. So you will find a lot of them right here in the center northern part of the map. And one of the best spots personally is right here at the Mosanda Forest waypoint. There are many patrols over here, including ones that even have the Eliza bee, which is the boss, so you can also get that, but the bee guards are going to be plenty enough. Do be careful, because they do have these kind of kamikaze attacks and they can deal quite a bit of damage, so just try to stay out of their way. It goes without saying that you will also need the chickpeas. However, they are found all over the place, including the starting area, so I'm not going to cover these any longer. But once you do have them, place them inside of these ranches that you can also build at low level. So I placed 2 of them, 1 for the bees and the other 1 for the cow and the chicken, and that should be enough to take care of these 3 elements: the eggs, the milk, as well as the honey. Now for the wheat, even 1 plantation should be enough with the time that it takes to build 1 cake, but honestly you can also place 2 and have a bunch of workers that move all of that, plant it for you, and also water it down so that everything is taken care of automatically. Plus, once you get a bunch of that wheat, you can just go at the mill and convert it into flour, and that takes care of the 4th resource. The only other 2 are the berries, which are very simple because this is the first thing you should have crafted anyway, so that's already taken care of. The only other thing we're gonna need is obviously to bake the cake. So now that we have that, you're going to do it at the cooking pot. You're obviously going to need a creature that does kindling, so try to get one that constantly stays there on the fire. In my case, I just use whatever I had at my disposal, so it can literally be any fire creature to craft that. It's going to take a while, but as I've said, it's absolutely mandatory, because this is what we're going to place right here in this special box. Otherwise, no breeding is going to happen. Who knew that cake is the secret to make love happen? But I guess that's the case with Palworld. Now do be careful about the cake, because this has about a 20-minute timer before it spoils. So what you're going to want to do is either place it in one of these refrigerating boxes, but you will obviously need an ice creature to also keep it cool, otherwise it doesn't work. So try to do that. But another method is to just press sort on your inventory, and that's going to completely reset the 20-minute timer. However, if you want it longer than 20 minutes, you're obviously going to want to keep it refrigerated. This is going to increase that to about like 3 hours or so, at least during the daytime. And now that we have all of this, it's time to make some magic happen. So of course, you can either combine 2 individuals of the same species, you will need a male and a female, or two different individuals of different species, but they also have to be one male and one female. So in this case, I'm going to show you what crazy results you can get from combining different species. One of them includes a Vanny Worm as well as a Sweeper, which comes up with a very interesting dragon. Now, you will have to manually assign them to the breeding pan. So in this case, just pick them up, throw them in, and that's how you do it. Otherwise, they will just not start the process. But in this case, I combined a female Vanny Worm in case that's relevant for this outcome. I'm pretty sure it's going to be. If you go the other way around, it might not work. And I combined it with a male Sweeper. By the way, you can find a male Sweeper quite early right here southwest of the starting area. There's a boss Sweeper that you can fight at around level 11. So it's actually pretty easy to take down, and then you can use it for that breeding pan. And to my surprise, the result was a large dragon egg, which was pretty much jackpot. Of course, it takes about like an hour and 20 minutes to fully incubate this. However, you can also turn off that incubation timer completely off to 0 by just going into your world settings before loading in the map. But just for showcasing purposes, I turned that down to 0 to showcase the result. And in this case, what we got was an Elphedron, which is essentially a dragon type boss pal. And I really like the looks on this. It only took a couple of level 11s to breed this really awesome looking creature. You're not gonna find this in the early stages, let me tell you that. And it's also going to behave both as a very strong companion, but also as a ground and a flying mount. Now, its flight is not going to be the best, but it can run decently fast. So you can use it in both of these scenarios and not be too slow like how it is with some of the birds. The damage on this was also pretty interesting, and it comes with this really insane burst flare type of attack, kind of like just blasts enemies from pretty far away. I really enjoy just the looks of this, and of course you can choose between different dragon, neutral, and even fire type abilities as you level this up. Also, if you enjoyed the video thus far, a thumbs up would definitely be appreciated. But like I said, it's not the only choice that we made, so let me show you a few more. Of course, again, we're going to need some of those cakes, and again, make sure they don't spoil, make sure they still have the timer, and place them inside of the box next to the breeding pan. In this case, we're going to farm and breed two members of the same species. In this case, I want to go for Robin Quill. These are by far the best workers at this stage for your farm, and they pretty much do everything around the base. So obviously I want to get another one with a yellow passive skill right there at the bottom. I already have this female with the Workaholic, which is one of the best passive skills to have for this specific pal. So I do want to transfer that, or at least increase the chances for the offspring to have its own kind of yellow passive skill. Unfortunately, the male doesn't have anything, or at least anything worthy, so this might end up with a random result. And from this point on, it's just a matter of waiting, so I'm going to come back once they are done while breeding. And now that it's done, it's nighttime, the egg is pretty much complete, so now we can take it and bring it back at our incubator. So in this case, it's the properly sized egg with the color that we need. This means we're going to get that Robin Quill. So this one came with a yellow skill, like I said, but it's not the Workaholic, it's a different one, which is the Muscle Head. Now, this is, of course, a little bit random, and of course, you can get different ones. Sometimes it transfers, sometimes it does not, but the point of the matter is that you can get an offspring that is much better compared to at least one of its original parents. So in this case, what we can do is bring a step beyond and actually breed one of the starting parents, the one that has the best stats in this case, with the offspring that just got another set of good stats. Yes, it sounds and it is a bit incesty, but it totally works if you want to just constantly crossbreed these until you get one with like 3 or 4 passive skills and even have them at as high level as possible. So just to give you an example, in this case, we're going to continue to breed these. In this case, we're going to start with the same female that had that Workaholic trait, and we're going to combine it with the offspring that came with the Muscle Head. So I'm going to go ahead again, place them in, wait for a little bit, and come back later. And lo and behold, once we do go ahead and incubate this egg, yes, it absolutely came with 2 of these passive traits, and it actually transferred those this time around. So it's exactly the same traits with the same level as before. So the offspring in this case came with a level 3 workaholic, just like its mother, and the musclehead, just like its daddy, which is probably its brother too. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We got what we came for. I'm not going to judge. But from this point on, I'm also going to show you how to get Lunaris. Now, this is normally a boss that you can fight at around level 32 in this area, southwest again from the starting location. This is at least when I encountered the boss, but you do need to be quite far into the game to get it, and it's also very dangerous. However, you can breed this with 2 low levels, like sub-level 10 pals that you can find very early on. So this includes 1 dire haul as well as 1 of these rubies, both of them thrown in the pan, and of course you can find them around these parts of the map. So in the case of the dire haul, as you can see, you can find them all over the place, very much west. There are plenty of them around these forests. Plus you can also get the ruby not too far off, but you will have to go a little bit up northeast to get them. Again, if you farmed for those bees, you should be able to find them along the way too. Now, to my shock, the result here was pretty insane. So not only did we get this Lunaris, but check out the passive skills. The offspring is much better than both of the parents combined. Neither of the parents had any golden skills whatsoever. However, Lunaris managed to get 2 of them out of the breeding. So like I said, it's completely passive. Obviously, some of the starting passive skills do wait a little bit into adding new ones for the offspring, but as you can see, it can also happen even if you have completely random ones that don't even get close to gold quality. Now, before we finish off, there's one more thing we can do to further and finally boost up our character, and that is by ranking it up. And we do that by condensing the essence of other pals into the one that we currently have. We're gonna need the essence condenser for that, which you unlock from the technology tab right here at level 14. So absolutely do that and build it. It is worth it. So for this, you're going to need at least 5 of the same pals, and what you're going to want to do is first click on the one that you want to promote. In this case, whichever one is the best, has the best stats, is the highest level, or has the best passive skills. And then sacrifice all the remaining 4, or however many you have, but in this case, for the first level, it's 4. Then it's going to be 16 and probably 32 for the final one, but yeah, it just increases to insane numbers later on. So right now I'm just going to show you the first level. This one, you can sacrifice the low level ones or the ones that are undesired and just throw them in there as fodder to boost up the one that you really want. So I highly encourage you to always pay attention to the passive skills, the yellow ones, because if you sacrifice one that has good passive skills, it's not going to transfer to the one that you put as a primary. It's not going to happen, at least not from my testing, and at least not for the first level. So do it the other way around, sacrifice the really ugly ones that don't really have anything going for them. And once you do get at least a couple of levels in, the more you rank them up to the max of 4 stars or 5 stars, depending if any of them goes there, but usually it's 4 stars, eventually you will also improve your passive skills too. So those skills can gain new levels, become much better, and give you much bigger boosts if you rank them up to maximum stars. And that's basically what you need to do to fully boost up your team, create the monster that you always desired, and I'm pretty sure that somebody out there will combine all of these, create a absolutely 4-star legendary quality pal that can probably take care of anything. So I'm definitely going to follow up this video with a whole bunch of other combinations and best results I can find, and I'm going to try my best to create the biggest monstrosity I can, and maybe even transfer some of the other stats like the lucky stat and make them also very big. This is it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.